Alright, so today we are at Ang Mo Kio and we're going to talk about why and how should you invest in a HDB shop house, which is this one. Let's go. This is Ang Mo Kio Avenue 10, which is in the intersection point between Avenue 5 and Avenue 3. We have one up for sale, which is a dual story. Balance is about 56, 57 years. But before we talk about how and why to invest in a HDB shop house, the key rationale that HDB shop houses are still popular is because this is the only chance for you to own two different HDBs in your name. Let's go. HDB shop houses are classified as a full commercial status. The only differential point from pure shop houses in the CBD zoning is that HDB shop houses has a residential component at the top, but as a title of its own, it belongs to a commercial title. So technically speaking, you can own it anytime. Even if let's say you were to own a HDB right now, within your MOP period, you can still own a HDB shop house separately. So let's go to scenario number one. You just purchased a HDB. Into your third year, you have spare funds that you decide to invest in another property. You can actually go for a HDB shop house, dual story, and that does not need to have any MOP requirement. Second route is that you own a HDB shop house already. Take note that because of the residential component, any point in your lifetime, if you were to buy a HDB apartment, that is considered as your second property and you have to pay ABSD on that, but it does not rob you the chance to own another HDB. The reason is because in the eyes of HDB, you only have one commercial unit and thus you are now buying your first HDB apartment. So that's the way and method to own two HDB apartments. The key thing to understand is that the HDB shop house component is considered a commercial unit and you can own multiple units of it. The only thing to note is that the top residential component contributes to your property count for future residential property. So how do we actually decipher this and make this into your investment portfolio? For example, if you start off with no properties, you don't have plans to buy any other properties, HDB shop house presents a good opportunity. The reason is because you can stay on the top unit, which is a 3-room HDB model apartment. In Ang Mo Kio, that's probably about $400,000 right now. If you were to rent out your entire top unit, you can command about $3,000 to $3,500 in today's 2023 rental rates. Bottom unit is another full-blown unit that you can actually segregate into two, and that's what's happening right now. So on the left-hand side, that's actually a provision shop that's being tenanted with existing tenancy. The right-hand side actually belongs to the owner that has tasked us to sell this HDB shop house, and they own the business as well. Top residential, you can rent out to $3,500. Bottom two, you can rent out for $4,000 and $4,000 each. Total rental will give you about $11,000 in today's context. Asking price for this property, they are looking at $2.2 to $2.4 million. If we were to look at it, it covers the current mortgage at about 3.5% mortgage rate pretty equally. That gives you like a nice break-even point of rental yield at about 3% to 4%, which is pretty decent. But I think the key component here on how and why to invest in a shop house is that it gives you that flexibility to own this without incurring additional ABSD if you were to invest in additional residential unit, which also will affect your LTV for your loan. So let's take a look at this example. Scenario 1, you already own a condominium and you intend to buy another condo. Firstly, you'll be taxed with 20% ABSD. Secondly, if you're a single owner, do not have any other names to use, you can only take a 45% loan on your second property, which means you have to down pay 55% plus another 20% ABSD, 75% on top of the purchase price, which is a little bit tough to do so because the leveraging point is so low. Thus, this presents an opportunity because you can purchase a HDB shop house in your single name or using a company name. Now, if you are a business owner, you don't have to tap onto your own TDSR to take a loan on the property. Loan for commercial properties, you can go up to 90% if it's for your own usage or 80% if you're buying a tenanted unit. And the LTV stays at this level as long as your company has revenue. Even if you're using your personal name, you can also take up to 80%. That is one sweet spot that a lot of investors are actually having to own a commercial title unit because the residential play might be quite limited at this stage. So let's come to scenario number 2. You have a HDB apartment, but both your names are stuck inside. And because it's a HDB unit, you cannot remove any name from your existing apartment. The only way is to sell it. Let's say if you don't want to sell, and you don't want to pay the 20% ABSD on a condo unit, and you also don't want to be limited by a 45% loan, then this presents another option. Because what you can do is own this unit at 2.2 to 2.4 million, take an 80% loan, whether using your pure name or your company's name. In terms of the structure is that you need to take note of these two components. Number one, most commercial titles are GST registered. So that means that you have to pay 8% GST. Now, if you use a company that is GST registered to buy, you can claim back the GST. But the kicker is this, the GST at 8% of 2.2 million is about $176,000. So if you use a company name, you can claim that back. However, if you use a company name to purchase, you have to pay 65% ABSD on the residential component. So take 400,000 times 65%, that would be 260,000. So you have to pay 260,000 on ABSD if you use a company's name, but you do not have to pay the GST of 176,000 because you can claim it back. If you are buying with personal name, you only have to pay 20% ABSD on the residential component, which is 80,000, but you have to pay 8% GST on the entire property, which is 176,000. So that's 176 plus 80,000. That will then bring you to $256,000, which means that it is about the same. So the additional kicker owning this property is that you have an additional tax amount of about 256 to 260,000. So that is something that you need to take note to set aside. Let's compare that with, let's say, buying a condominium at about $2 million. 20% ABSD is about 400,000. 400,000 compared to 260, you still can see that difference in terms of savings. And most importantly is the leverage point. You can leverage only 45% here on your second property, provided your first property is not fully paid. But second property here, you can actually loan up to 80% or even 90% if it's for your own use. So those are the key financial mechanics that you know on how to own this HDB shop house. Now, let's come in over here closer a little bit to have a look at this shop house. What has happened over the past 20 years is that HDB has already stopped building shop houses. You look at some of the newer estates in Punggol, in Sengkang, any new township, no more HDB shop house of this. This has already stopped production. Balance lease, you'll get about 50 over years to about 60 years. Some shop houses are older at about 40 over years. By and large, you can only find them in matured estates. So what happens is that if you look at the latest kind of like shop houses, Hougang River Court, some of these enclaves in Sengkang and Punggol, all this, you will have to rent them. There's no way that you can buy them. This is the only thing that you can buy now. I think this can also be like a good retirement plan. Let's say you are 35 years old now. You already own a HDB or you own a condominium and you decide to invest in a HDB shop house. What's going to happen is that, let's just stretch it from 35 years old. This property can still last you for 56 years. By the time this property reaches zero in terms of its lease, how old are you going to be? 91 years old. So what's going to happen is that you take a 25 years loan. By the time you are 60 years old, this property is fully paid. Either you totally rent it out, let the renter just take care of itself. Sometimes you have to top out a little bit, maintenance and stuff like that. But by 60 years old, it's fully paid. 31 years of pure rental play. Imagine 31 years of 11,000. Let me just take out my calculator. $11,000 per month times 12 times 31. This is the amount that you can collect after you fully pay off your property in terms of total rental. Okay, let's just take a discount figure. Out of 11,000, maybe let's reserve 1 month for maintenance, for agent commission, getting tenants and stuff like that, times 11 months, you still have 31 years. This is the total amount that you can collect all the way until you are 91 years old. And that is how you can use rental play. So you're having like a full asset that is fully paid. You just need to collect the rental. And then with $11,000 a month, you don't have to work technically. And that is the benefit of starting early. So if you have additional funds, let's say for example, if you were to buy this property at 2.2 million, you multiply by about 20% plus the 260,000 that I was talking about, 700,000. So maybe you're thinking, hey Melvin, how do I have 700,000? What you can do is actually you can share this with a friend. You can split up this amount, start up a company, incorporate a company together, and then own this together. So everybody comes with probably about 200 over thousand for your own savings, and then co-invest this. Once it's fully paid, 11,000 divided by 3%, each person can still get close to about 3K per month. And that's still good passive income. 10 years, if this still appreciates, you want to sell it, you want to extract some equity, you want to buy another property, or you want to invest in the second one with your friends, then you can start multiplying more properties to invest in and then slowly build your passive retirement income. Okay, enough of the numbers. Let me show you how it looks like from the back. This shop house comes with a back entrance. This goes into the 2-shop unit, and the 2-shop units share one common bathroom. Upstairs is a 3-room apartment. You have a kitchen, bathroom at the back. You have 2 bedrooms. So upstairs currently is commanding about 3 to 3,500. Now, even if you want to stay upstairs, I think it's perfect for a small family unit. If you have 2 children, you can take 1 room, your 2 kids can take their room. It serves like any other HDB apartments. The only thing is that, of course, it doesn't have a lift. You need to access by this back staircase. Alright, so we're done. Today we have 3 video creatives with us, and we're all filming this together on a Saturday morning. Hope you enjoyed this episode on how and why invest in HDB Shophouse. We'll see you on the next home tour. Cheers. Sorry, restart again. Why got 3 cameras? Yeah. 3 angles? Yeah. Okay.